Hello, my name is Laura Frances Richardson. I am the owner of the DragonfliesLady.biz website, and the purpose of this video is to tell you about our legislation. The purpose of our amendment we proposed of the Americans with Disabilities Act that was enacted in 1990 is to empower Americans with disabilities as consumers. I wrote it within the framework of the Constitution, keeping in mind what this amendment would cost the American taxpayers. The good news is it doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime. The original purpose of the Americans with Disabilities Act, enacted July 26, 1990, was to assist Americans with disabilities with equivalent access to employment and services the government and some limited private entities had to offer the public by defining reasonable accommodations that would make equivalent access accessible to Americans with disabilities. These accommodations have successfully assisted Americans with disabilities to competitively enter into the workforce, thus widening the disposable income of Americans with disabilities. This disposable income has led Americans with disabilities to consumerism. 23 years later, this amendment of the Americans with Disabilities Act takes it a step further by defining the private sector's constitutional obligation to Americans with disabilities as consumers. Specifically, the 14th Amendment of the Constitution states, "Any state shall not deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws." As a matter of fact, according to a U.S. Census 2005 report, there are approximately 54.5 million Americans with disabilities. With that number growing every day, the absence of action of our proposed legislation will in fact cost the taxpayers money in legal lawsuits as well as additional medical care costs by not having equivalent access to quality medical care. Let's suppose for a week you had a disability with only access to businesses, both private and governmental, that provided reasonable accommodations. Would that be a suitable lifestyle for you? Well, it wouldn't be for me. As this amendment of the Americans with Disabilities Act preserves Americans with Disabilities' 14th constitutional right of life, liberty, and property, and needs to become law nationally today. We hope you'll join us in our fight. Thank you, and thank you for visiting the DragonfliesLady.biz website. God bless.